was a young student and my eldest brother, Mr. Khosa, joined the police service of Pakistan. And so I and police go back a long way. We have seen a very fine officer grow in his stature, serve the nation to the best of his ability, and then ultimately retire as the Inspector General of Police after serving also as Director General of the Federal Police. So my interaction is not new with the police, but the formal interaction with other police officers took place exactly 30 years ago in the year 1989, when I was a young lawyer, had a passion for fundamental rights and constitutionalism in the country. And Mr. Khosa was the course commander at the National Police Academy, Islamabad. He said, would you like to come and talk to my under-training police officers? And I was very happy to do that. And the interesting information today is that one of those under-training officers at that time in the year 1989 was none other than the present Inspector General of Police, Saeed, who was also an under-training officer. So 30 years have gone by. We have all progressed in life. We have served in different capacities. Then in the year 1989, there was an invitation from my elder brother, which was a command. So I had to go to the National Police Academy. And today again, there was an invitation from the Inspector General of Police of a province. And I know as a lawyer and a judge that when you receive a hukamnama talbi, if you receive a hukamnama talbi, you have to go. So I am here. As a matter of fact, my presence here is on the basis of something which I myself volunteered, and I expressed a desire to meet the police officers here in Sindh for various reasons. Firstly, I wanted to pay my personal tributes to the Shohada and their families and the Ghazis of police force, particularly belonging to this region, because it is because of their sacrifices that this city has once again become peaceful, secure, and even otherwise as a whole nation, we are better off from the stage that we were in a few years ago. And it's only because of the sacrifices, the ultimate, the supreme sacrifice of life, and losing your limbs, losing the way of life that you lead for us. So I thought I was under an obligation that I must go and personally pay my tributes to the Shohada and the Ghazis and their families and the police force here. The second reason that I had desired to come and address the police officers here was unfortunately the police bashing that sometimes we hear of. I wanted to make a point here that there may be black sheep in every walk of life. There may be black sheep in us, in the judges, in the lawyers, in the administrators, executive officers, and also in the police, and maybe, I'm saying maybe, some in the politicians as well. But all to be tarnished with the same brush is a tradition or a practice which we have to do away with. We should never make sweeping statements when we're talking about professions. We should never generalize things when we are talking about different people serving in different walks of life. There are thousands and thousands of very good officers serving in every branch of the government and in every walk of life, and they get extremely discouraged when somebody makes a sweeping statement that all police walas are like this, all judges are like this, all lawyers are like this, or all politicians are like this. No. So I wanted to make a point here by being present here personally to provide you support and to boost your morale and to appreciate the good work that you are doing. Coming to the criminal justice sector, you all know, and I must reiterate, that as far as criminal justice system is concerned, police and the judiciary are inseparable. You bring people to justice, we administer justice to them. Without you, our function cannot be performed. So we are conjoined twins, so to say, and we are inseparable. So we have to keep on giving support to each other because we cannot function without each other. It is recognized all over the world now that in order to achieve optimum results, the judiciary has to be absolutely independent. And likewise, the other component of justice sector, the police, per se, has to be independent. Without that, justice cannot be achieved at all. It was recognized way back in the year 1945 in this very subcontinent, in the case of Khaja Nazir Ahmed, 1945 Privy Council, that the independence of judiciary is as important as independence of the police if any meaningful justice is to be achieved in a society. So any effort to undermine independence of the police will undermine justice itself, and a society which cannot provide justice to its members, it cannot exist for long. So my other message that I personally came here today to deliver is that in your quest for justice, in your quest for independence, we will stand together with each other in every effort of yours to achieve or strive for independence will receive full support from us. Now coming to the topic of the day here, justice sector reform. Sometime in the end of 2018, my predecessor, Honorable Chief Justice B. Zakir Nisar, constituted this Police Reforms Committee, which has a unique composition. Not only all the serving Inspectors General of Police of 4 provinces, the Capital Territory of Islamabad, Azad Jammu and Kashmir, Gilgit-Baltistan, not only all the serving Inspectors General are members of this committee, but we have very distinguished retired Chief Justices picked up from all over the country and who have earned a good reputation for themselves, not only as honest and competent officers, but people who were visionaries, people who wanted to do something for the police, and in their own tenures in service, they did achieve a lot. So we wanted to benefit from their experience. So this combination of serving Inspectors General of Police and retired, reputed, competent, efficient, motivated, and people who have acknowledged competence, we had a wonderful group of people who sat down together to devise strategies as to how to improve the justice sector, particularly with reference to the police. And the serving judges like the Chief Justice of Pakistan, and we also associate some judges as the need arises, to sit with the committee so that there is the experience of all concerned is pooled in, and we can come up with something which is practicable and something which is doable. And now I'll let you know that how we proceeded with that committee. We constituted a steering committee. It was headed by me, and then when Almighty Allah willed, I joined this office. Then I was heading the committee itself, and we decided that we will go after one thing at a time. We will achieve one objective at a time. We will not come up with a huge agenda and start on every item of the agenda simultaneously and end up nowhere or end up making very little progress. So we decided that we will decide as to what is the first objective to be achieved. We will pool in our knowledge and resources, and once we accomplish that objective, we'll move on to the next objective. The first thing that we decided to achieve was that our image in the society, the police's image in the society, has to be transformed. And that could be transformed only if we can somehow ensure that the colonial image, the colonial past of the police is done away with, and we start doing things which affect the very people directly, and people have redressal of their grievances directly by contacting the police itself, rather than going to some other office or some court. So we decided the first thing to be done is that we have to establish direct contact of the police with the people that they serve, and so that the police can directly attend to the grievances of the people, and people don't have to go to any court of law for redressal of their grievance against the police. So in that connection, we said we must have complaints redressal mechanism in every district. Upon my suggestion, and I'm grateful to the Inspectors General who agreed with the suggestion, that a high-level police officer must head this committee at every district. If a low-level police officer is dealing with it, some bottlenecks were anticipated by us, and we thought that if such a committee in every district is headed by a superintendent of police, who is the highest officer in the district, he can carry out his decisions, he can ask his subordinates to implement his decisions, and people will be satisfied. So with the assistance of all the Inspectors General of Police, we have set up offices of SP complaints in every district of the country. And they are available full-time, and they are directly attending to the grievances of the people, not only grievances in criminal justice system, but also grievances otherwise with the working of the police generally. So we have absolutely phenomenal results that have been achieved in this, and I've been told from the statistics that within the last few months, these SP complaints have received 71,452 complaints in the country, and out of these 71,000 complaints, 57,000 complaints have been redressed to the satisfaction of the complainants. This is a wonderful achievement, because look at it from another way, from my point of view, that these 71,000 people would have gone to the courts, and the overburdened courts, they are already overburdened, huge backlogs, and 71,000 more cases in these few months would have been added, and we would not have been able to provide adequate justice to them. So the police has decided to share this load with us, and these 57,000 complaints have been satisfactorily redressed and addressed by the police itself. We also calculated how many people have gone to the courts for these issues, and the statistics show that within the last few months, 11% decrease in going to the courts has been recorded, and 20% decrease of going to the high courts has been recorded. So 11% of the population, you can imagine, translate it into the real figures, it's a population of 22 crores. 11% of those who had grievances with the police, they went to the police rather than going to the courts. And 20% of the people with grievances against the police, who would have ordinarily gone to the High Court with a writ petition or constitutional petition, they went to the police and they were satisfied. This is a huge achievement. Not only reduces the backlog of the courts, reduces the burden of the courts, but also increases confidence in the police, which was our primary objective, that we have to build confidence of the people in the police force itself. So this was our first project, and we are so happy that it has succeeded in such a big way. The second step that we decided was to come about with assessment committees. You see, I told the serving inspectors general of police that every day I handle criminal cases. Every day we see the same mistakes being committed by the investigating officer. About 100 years ago, the courts had held that joint confession is inadmissible in evidence. But even today, the investigating officers don't know. In many cases, two or more accused persons are alleged to have made a joint confession. If the investigating officer knew the law, he wouldn't have committed this mistake. For 100 years, the law is that a joint recovery is inadmissible in evidence. But even till today, joint recoveries are being affected. We know, and everybody knows in the world, a confession before the police is inadmissible in evidence. But even till today, we receive cases where the prosecution is relying upon confession made before the police. So that we thought that there was a disconnect between what we do in the courts and what the investigating officer is taught or the investigating officer knows. So there was a dire necessity of the investigating officers being told what the courts are deciding. So we have, as a second step, we decided that assessment committees should be constituted or created in every district, and those committees will be the task of those assessment committees will be to scrutinize all the cases in that district, all criminal cases in that district in which the accused persons were acquitted or were admitted to bail. They should study all those cases, that why the courts disbelieved the prosecution evidence. There must be some reason recorded in the judgment. Why that reason was not known to the investigating officer. So those assessment committees, we have made it flexible. In every district the SP can choose different members of the society, and we have suggested to them that the assessment committee should include at least one retired sessions judge who has been a judge, who knows the working of the police and the criminal cases. There should be some young lawyers involved in that assessment committee who have the energy, who have the enthusiasm to study all those judgments, to make out a gist of what the bases were for acquittal or bail, and so that every month a report is then a report is made and submitted that these are the defects on which so many people got acquitted in this district. And then it will be the duty of the police officers in the district that report and those reasons should be conveyed to all the police officers who are tasked to investigate cases, so that this mistake is not repeated in the next case. So this is the second step that we are actually now working on before we move on to the third step. So it's a gradual fulfillment of our desire or our wish or our dream that we have to improve the police system, the police force. We have to make it efficient, we have to make it competent, we have to ensure that it is independent, and so that it delivers for the betterment of the society. Now, some justice sector reforms have simultaneously been taken in the judicial field. In the judicial side, we realized that there are two problems in our criminal justice system, two very basic problems. There must be 101 problems otherwise. But we have to go for the jugular vein. We have to go for the real cause, so that if we can attain to that cause, the whole thing will start mending itself. For that purpose, we realized, on the basis of our own combined collective experiences, that the first problem is falsehood in testimonies, false testimonies. The second problem is the delays. So we thought that we must attack on both these fronts. False testimonies, it's unfortunate that in the year 1925, some British judges of the Lahore High Court, they gave a judgment that in every part of the world when somebody is dying, he is not likely to tell something which is untrue. He is not likely to make a false statement because he is leaving the world. He is going to meet his Creator. So he is not likely to tell a lie. So the dying declaration has a sanctity attached to it. But, they said it's a big but. There is one part of this planet Earth, which is the Indian subcontinent, where even on their deathbed, people will falsely accuse their enemies so that they are entangled in a false case and they suffer. Even when I'm gone, my enemies should keep on suffering. They said this is unfortunately not only recognized by us every day, but also recognized by outsiders, the foreigners who came here, and even they noticed this. So false testimonies was the first problem. In every murder case, we see that the eyewitnesses are either the father of the deceased, or the uncle of the deceased, or a brother of the deceased, or some cousin of the deceased. It is strange that every murder in this country takes place in front of a father, or a brother, or a cousin, or an uncle, and not otherwise. Even in cases where occurrences take place in forsaken places, in an open field with no habitat around it, but even then somehow some brother or some cousin happens to be passing that way at 2 a.m. in the morning from that field, and he is made an eyewitness. So there is something seriously wrong. We said we'll catch the bull by its horns. We will tackle this issue. It may take some time, it may result in some acquittals to start with, but once the message goes across that false testimony will not be acceptable, maybe a couple of hundred people will get acquitted, but for the longer interest of our society and criminal justice system, we have to come down very clearly that false testimonies will not be acceptable. There is a saying in the legal parlance, falsus in uno, falsus in omnibus. False in one respect, false in all respects. So if a witness tells a lie on one aspect, then the entire testimony of that witness will be discarded. Even in the Islamic jurisprudence, that's the principle. If you tell lie once, you are banished from a court of law forever. You can never be a witness again. But somehow, because of some exigencies or some practical considerations, it was thought way back in the year 1951 by Chief Justice Munir of the fame of doctrine of necessity. He also, his lordship introduced this, that in this part of the world, because people tell lies, and if we start acquitting people on the basis of such lies, then there will be no conviction. So because we have to convict people, so we will accept lies. The approach is wrong. The approach has destroyed the moral fiber of the society as far as legal system is concerned. People come and tell lies in the court under oath, pose themselves as witnesses, and they know nothing about that case. So we have decided that no, enough is enough. We will not tolerate it any further. If we have to live as a decent society, and if we have to have a just system in the society, if we have to make sure justice in the society, then no falsehood will be tolerated. So right now, we changed the law. We gave judgment, very strong judgment. I fortunately was the author of that judgment. Very strong words used, and we said nothing doing, no more lies. And we have started prosecuting false witnesses. So at the moment, I think about 15 eyewitnesses of murder cases are being tried for committing perjury in courts of law in different parts of Pakistan. The next extension of this principle will be that all those investigating officers who knew that these witnesses are false, why did they put their names in the challans as eyewitnesses? They share responsibility. They will be prosecuted as accomplices of such perjury and will not spare them. So let this be a warning to all the investigating officers in the country that falsehood will not be tolerated. And if you allow falsehood to go to a court or reach a court, then you will be tried as an accomplice, and then whatever the consequences that are followed, not only vis-a-vis your own independence or liberty, but also regarding your service, you should be ready to face those consequences. Devise some other methodology of investigation. Devise some other mechanism. Have recourse to modern technology. Have recourse to circumstantial evidence. Have recourse to fingerprints. Have recourse to the very good laboratories now, forensic science that we have, laboratories in this country. Our laboratory in Lahore, Forensic Science Agency, is acknowledged as second best in the world. So take use of that agency. So false witnesses, no more acceptable. So that's one area where in the justice sector reform we have taken a very big step. Like Neil Armstrong said when he landed on the moon, a small step for man, but a giant leap for mankind. So it may be a very small step as far as that judgment is concerned, but it's a giant leap for our justice system. Today some people will be acquitted. Maybe in a year or 2 years some people will be acquitted. But then the message will go across that anything false in a case, the whole case goes. Then we will have pure justice, the kind of justice that we tell our children about when we go and in other countries of the world, we see that people don't tell lies in the courts. We as a Muslim society have a greater responsibility to be adhering to the truth and nothing but the truth. The other aspect was delays. In the criminal justice sector, we sat together, judges, we pulled in our knowledge and resources, experiences, and then decided that we don't need any change of laws. We don't need any change of procedure. We don't need to have new courts. We don't have to have new judges, new lawyers. Within the system, there are things that we can handle. We can correct some of those things, and this very system will start delivering. For that, I told a small example from my area. I come from Dera Ghazi Khan, which is a very far-flung area of Punjab. There is a bridge over River Chenab passing from very close to Dera Ghazi Khan, which connects Dera Ghazi Khan with Multan. That bridge, you also have such bridges from the British times, जो गार्डर्स लोहे के बड़े होते हैं ऊपर नीचे बंद, जिनके अंदर से ट्रेन जाती है और ऊपर से फिर बाद में ट्रैफिक जाती है. There was a truck which got stuck in that bridge. वो ऊपर से ज़्यादा overloaded था, तो ऊपर से वो कहीं फंस गया. ट्रेन के आने का टाइम हो गया. बहुत से लोग इंजीनियर्स बुलाए, बहुत से माहिर बुलाए कि अब इसका क्या करें. इतने मोटे मोटे गार्डर जो 200 साल से पड़े हुए हैं कैसे काटेंगे, इतनी देर में कैसे ये ट्रक निकलेगा और ट्रेन निकलेगी. एक चरवाहा साथ ही बकरियां चरा रहा था. उसने कहा मसला क्या है. उन्होंने बताया जी ट्रक फंस गया है. उन्होंने कहा कहाँ फंस गया. उन्होंने कहा जी इस पुल में फंस गया है, ये ऊपर वाले गार्डर से वो उसका सामान फंस गया, तो कैसे करें. तो उसने कहा नो प्रॉब्लम, टायरों की हवा निकाल दें. वो टायरों की हवा निकाली, वो 6 इंच नीचे हो गए, ट्रक निकाल दिया. So I gave this example to my friends and colleagues that we don't have to have commissions, we don't have to have conferences and spending days and millions of rupees on research to find solutions when very simple solutions are available. And as far as delays are concerned, we decided on 3 things. Number 1, that there will be no adjournment of a case. Cases are fixed for hearing, not for adjournment. And in fact, in my courtroom for the last many years, there has not been any adjournment at all, because I declared that adjournment सिर्फ दो सूरत में होगी, तो या वकील साहब फौत हो जाएं या जज साहब रहलत फरमा जाएं. So, or in English I translated, I said, if the lawyer dies or the judge passes away. उन्होंने कहा ये आपके मुख्तलिफ अल्फाज क्यों हैं? मैंने कहा जज साहब को थोड़ी सी ज़्यादा इज़्ज़त से रवाना करना है. So, first of all, the message is that there should be no adjournment at all. The lawyer should have other engagements. He can make his own arrangements. But the case which is fixed for hearing will be heard and decided. The second decision that we took was that there was a rollover system. A sessions judge would have maybe 50 trials going on at the same time. He will record one statement of a witness in one case, then adjourn the case for another day. He will take up another case, record two more statements, take up the third case, hear arguments in an application in the third case. So he will be handling about 15 to 20 or 30 cases every day, but they're all rolling over together. We said, no, this is wrong. When a case starts, that will be the only case being heard by the judge, and it will proceed from day to day. It will not be adjourned, and once that case is finished, then the next case will be taken up. The third step was even bigger. Then most of these cases, except for the private complaints instituted by the complainant himself, most of the cases in our criminal justice system are state cases. They are challan cases. In a challan case, in a state case, it is the state which is prosecuting. What we have started seeing was that it was the complainant party which used to bring its witnesses to the court. We said it is not the responsibility of the complainant. The complainant's job was to inform the police, and he has done his job is over. It is now the state which will prosecute. So it will be the responsibility of the state to produce witnesses. We created focal persons in every district, focal persons in SP's office, and the court will inform that in such and such case, such and such witnesses are to be produced by the state, and the SP of the area will tell his staff to make sure that those individuals are produced before the court on the given day. So there is no adjournment. Every witness is in attendance. Then with all these three decisions, we said we will launch it as a pilot project, as a model court in every district. So we chose one judge, serving judge, district judge, in every district, and said that you are a model court and you will follow these three things. We gave them extensive training, and then in 116 districts of Pakistan, one judge on the criminal side of the district courts was declared as model judge. No change of laws, no new court, no new procedure, same judge, same lawyer, same cases, same police. And then in the last 86 days that we have come up with these model courts, you will not believe the results. The results are that in these 86 working days, the model criminal courts, the trial courts, have decided 9,767 murder and narcotics trials. 9,700 trials, not of petty cases like theft or stolen property, no. Murder trials, narcotics trials. And the good news is that in 12 districts of Pakistan, we have zero pendency of murder trials and narcotics trials. I'll give you the names of those districts. We are so happy over these results that within the same system, we could achieve this only because we just fine-tuned the same system. The districts where zero pendency of murder and narcotics trials has been achieved in these 86 days, is in Balochistan. It's Barkhan district, Dera Bukti, Harnai, Kalat, Kohlu, Panjgur, Ziyarat. In Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Kolai, Palas, Lower Kohistan, these districts, zero pendency of murder and narcotics cases. In Punjab, Jhelum, which is a very big station, Jhelum, Bahawal Nagar and Lodhra, zero pendency of murder trials and narcotics cases trials. And in 5 other districts, the pendency is in single digit, less than 10. So in the next week or so, or week or 2 weeks, even those 5 districts, so we'll have 17 districts with no pendency of murder trials. This is absolutely phenomenal, unbelievable. It's exactly reminds me of that shepherd who gave truck mein se hawa nikal, tyro mein se hawa nikal. We did nothing. We just fine-tuned the same system. And then we are grateful to the police. The police gave us full support. In every case, the witnesses are produced, all the witnesses, the SHO is present, the investigating officer is present, the doctor's statements are being recorded on the Skype. The prisoner who is sitting in jail, who has not been brought to the jail, his statement is being recorded on the Skype and sometimes on mobile phone, on WhatsApp. But no adjournment. Cases are being decided. So likewise, happy with this achievement, we have introduced one more judge to every district in the country on the criminal side. So the speed is going to be doubled. The same courts, so till we will keep on adding one more judge till the entire court in that district becomes a model court and starts delivering exactly on the same pattern. Then we have added model civil courts now, because on the civil side also the delays are phenomenal. So the same pattern is being introduced on the civil side. In every district of the country, we have one model civil appellate court judge, and they started only 4 days ago, 15th of this month, and in 4 days they have decided thousands of cases. The same judges who would decide 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 cases in these 4 days, they are deciding hundreds of cases on a daily basis. And there's no complaint from the lawyers that any procedure is being violated. People generally say justice rushed is justice crushed. No, there's not even one complaint from anybody that any procedure is being violated or undue haste is being shown. It's only the determination of our judges and the support of their seniors. I personally monitor every model court in the evening of every day after my own work in the Supreme Court. So the message is that it is doable. We can turn around every department that we want to. We are doing it in the judiciary, you are already doing it in the police. In every department you get going. When they say when the going gets tough, the tough get going. So it's time to get going and to achieve results. This is the only country that we have. We have to improve it. We have to make it better, and we have to give it our best. And we are giving it already. Then we have introduced model magistrates courts. You know as police officers that for every accused person you have to seek remand. So the accused is to be taken to a magistrate's court, a remand is to be obtained, and more than half of the day of that magistrate is spent on just giving remands. And by the time he is finished with giving remands, he has no time to hold a trial of his own cases. So we have bifurcated the magistrates among those who give remands and those who conduct trials. Those who conduct trials start their trials at 8 a.m. in the morning, or the first thing in the morning straight away. They have no other business. So they also have started delivering, and cases which used to take 3 years, are now being decided in 3 days. Two other things that we have ventured into is the special courts for gender-based violence cases. This is one area which is hushed up. This is one area where cases are generally not taken to courts, but nobody can deny that gender-based violence exists in this society. This was an area which was not being attended to. We have decided to attend to this because 50% of our population also needs the same justice which the other 50% is enjoying. So for gender-based violence courts, we have again taken a decision in the judicial policy making body, in the committee, which comprises of all the chief justices of the country, that every district will have one gender-based violence court. And right now, judges are receiving training, and on 27th of this month, inshallah, we will be awarding certificates to them, and those courts will be launched throughout the country. I was in St. Petersburg, Russia a few weeks ago, and some European court judges were taking pride in the fact that in their country they have one gender-based violent courts, and some others said we have two gender-based violence courts. And I just kept quiet, and then after some time I told them that Pakistan, you may think that is underdeveloped, we are socially backward, but that's not the case. We are going to have 116 gender-based violence courts in every district of the country. And after we announced this, and now that the training is being imparted, there have been write-ups on these gender-based courts that we're going to set up in BBC, in Guardian, in CNN, in other Washington Post. There have been articles on these that look at this country. I mean, they have taken lead on us. They are going far ahead of us on this issue. So we are very proud to be embarking on this journey as well. The other area was the child protection courts. There is a new law in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa as well as in Punjab about child protection. It's not juvenile justice, because juvenile justice is where the juvenile is an accused person in a court. Whereas there are other issues about children, and special laws have been made, and we have created special courts for that, and training is being imparted for those courts as well. In the high courts, we have created special benches for taxation, revenue, and banking. And the revenue matters, we were told that billions of rupees are stuck in revenue cases and tax cases in the courts. So we have also created special benches which are providing speedy justice. One thing which I forgot to tell you, that while we are dealing with these model courts on the criminal side, we are also competing with the Board of Revenue. Apart from sentencing people to death or to life imprisonment in these murder cases, 299 people have been sentenced to death, 831 to life imprisonment, 2,130 other sentences. Apart from that, we have imposed fines worth 43 crores of rupees in such cases. So we will also be providing some budgetary support to the Board of Revenue from this criminal justice project. Other initiatives, you must have heard about e-courts. We have been the first Supreme Court in the world which has established e-system, online hearing of cases. We have heard cases from Karachi while sitting at Islamabad. The lawyers at Karachi would argue from here, and we would decide cases, hear arguments, and decide cases in Karachi, in Islamabad. And likewise, we have established e-court from Quetta, and now the system is being extended to all the branch registries, the provincial headquarters.